All right, the recording is ready. I am going to full screen this. Cool. All right, everybody. Welcome to Summer of Shipping. I'm going to minimize this. Summer of Shipping. This is our week 6 presentation, and let's get started. So last week we talked about 2 topics. One of them was communication. Another one was Docker. This week we're going to talk about just some more like updates on Summer of Shipping. It's not really any technical topics or anything that's really that educational, but more of a reevaluation of where we're at. And then we'll do our demos and finally talk about our breakout session, which is when we break out into little groups and just kind of meet each other. So before we do that, one thing I would like to give space to do during these presentations is project pitches. So if you or somebody, if you or your team are looking for people to join you on your project, I'll give you a minute after we do our objective refresher to make sure that you have a chance to be like, hey, this is my name, whatever, and this is what I'm working on. This is our tech stack, and we're looking for members. So essentially, if you want to do that, just ping the Zoom chat, and we'll turn it over to you right after the objectives. So the objectives, these are a refresher, kind of keeps everybody reminded of kind of what we are here to do for the summer. And so the objectives for the summer, there's really 2 for the summer. One is to improve your resume. That's improving your traditional resume, which is when you apply to with your resume, PDF, or whatever, and people can see what you've done. We want to add more products to that and make that look a little bit more robust, as well as your public resume. And so that's being useful and interesting on the internet. Are you able to share with people all the things that you are doing, and is that something that catches people's attention? The other thing that we want to talk about is improve the skills you'll need on the job. And so again, that's code quality, communication, a long tail of other topics. We've hit a bunch of those in the past, but today we're actually going to be talking about what happens beyond summer. And so that's just something that people been asking about. So we'll talk about that. And at this time, if there are anybody who wants to do a project pitch, now's the time. Just message in the Zoom chat if you would like to pitch your group. Otherwise, we'll move on. Okay, so we've got one from, it looks like Julian. And so Julian, we'll give you 1 minute, and I'll keep you honest with time. But whenever you're ready, you can turn on your mic and then just give a little quick introduction of who you are, kind of what you're building, your tech stack, and what you guys are looking for.
Hey guys, so I'm my 4th year electrical engineer here at Queen's University in Kingston, Canada. So up here, we've already legalized marijuana, and there's a few big sites from which you get like strain information about an individual strain. But none of those have like an app from which you could like input certain characteristics of the strain that you want, and then it give you a result. So my idea is just this app that would give you like a strain recommendation. So I'm pretty new to web dev in general, so I'm gonna be, I think, focusing on a Flask backend and hopefully taking over the backend of this. So I'm looking mostly for like somebody that could help me out with the front end of this project. But I'm really open to like anyone joining. So if you're interested, just give me a shout.
Awesome. And Julian, if you can post a message in 2 places. One, and find an idea pitch, idea pitch channel. So it's the idea pitch channel in our Discord. And then the second thing is if you can add your project to the project tracker so that other people can find you when they're looking at that, that'll be perfect.
Yeah, sorry about that. I just added it like a few minutes ago to the Google Doc, so I'll post in the group as well.
Awesome. That's perfect. Alrighty. And do we have a second one as well from Daesun?
You guys see me?
Yep.
All right, what's up? My name is Daesun. We're doing a project right now with 2 of my other bootcamp cohorts. It's something like meetup.com where you can just log in and register and you can meet everyone. We're mostly focusing on like sports, whereas like if you go to a basketball court, you're all there by yourself and you're trying to look for people, kind of sucks, you're trying to wait. So we're just trying to make an online group where where people can like schedule meetups, hiking, biking, volleyball, basketball, soccer, whatever. And we're using React, Node, Express, and MySQL. I'll be doing the backend right now, and my 2 other friends One will be doing the front end, and my other would be also doing the back end with me. So right now, we're mostly looking for front end React developers, but we'd be happy to take anyone with us.
Awesome. And same deal. If you add a little thing in the idea pitch channel, I think I saw your project on the project tracker. So I
Yeah.
think you've already done that part. But awesome. So if anybody looks like front end devs are in demand for both of these projects that were just pitched. And so if you are somebody who is a little bit experienced with front end or even just interested in front end, I think you should reach out to those guys. All right. Well, thank you, Julian and Daesung. Cool. Alrighty. So if anybody else has a project pitch, we can actually, maybe we can wait for when we do demos, but right now we'll continue to move on. All right. So the next thing is that I want to talk about is a little announcement. It's called the SOS Project Managers, and that's a new volunteer group of people. So the problem is that we have lots of projects in SOS and they are kind of hard to track. You know, I've been trying to get everybody who pitches to put their project on the project tracker. As you can see, it's kind of a difficult process to make sure that that always happens every time. And that means that the project tracker is also not always up to date, even after it gets added. So people who are free agents and looking for projects can't really find projects to join. And it's also not super clear which groups are still looking for a mentor and where we can kind of direct those kind of resources to help out. So the solution right now is to create a small team of volunteers who will check in weekly with groups. And so if you get somebody who reaches out to you or has already reached out to you in the last week or so, it's like, hey, you know, I am whatever, and I am, you know, going to be checking on with you guys whenever. Don't be alarmed. That's definitely just something that we're starting right now. And so look out for that in the next week or so, if not already happening. And right now their job is to get you unstuck when you're stuck. So and the way they do that is try to get you connected to the right people and resources. And right now we have 4 people, or 3 and maybe 4, who are going to be helping out. So that's going to be Jacob, Josh, I think it's Marchi, and or Machi, and Carol. But Carol hasn't quite confirmed yet. So there'll be the top 3 and maybe Carol. And so that will be our project management team to start. And look out for just kind of communication from them and just check-ins and stuff. All right, so kind of the topic for this week is kind of just a reevaluation of where we are, considering where we came from in week 0 and where we are today. And so we'll talk about our, well, actually, we'll talk about why I'm talking about this. So a lot of people have been wondering what happens to Summer of Shipping after summer. I think that's a very good question. Despite, you know, a bunch of things being rough around the edges, we know we're putting stuff together as the summer is unfolding. This project has a lot of potential, and I think people are, you know, we're all tapping into like something that's like, hey, there's a demand here that's bigger than what might have initially been thought. So let's talk about SOS then in week 0 and SOS now in week 6. So week 0, we didn't have a Discord. There were 80 signups, maybe 2 or 3 mentors. Thursday meeting was essentially just this, and manual processes were enough to kind of just get us up and running. So now it's week 6, and we now have an evolving Discord server constellation. So we have our main Discord, but all of these project groups kind of start off and create their own little Discords where people can feel comfortable chatting a lot, creating more channels, and doing whatever they need to do. We have over 600 signups, over 70 mentor signups, although not all of our mentors have made themselves available on the mentor registry. We have Thursday and Friday meetings for both, you know, North America, South America time zones, and the, you know, EU, Africa, Asia kind of time zones. And then small projects have already shipped, which is really cool to see. But we're also now at a point where we kind of need more tools and spaces to interact, and that's kind of what we're hitting up on. Now let's kind of review the goals from back then and kind of what the goals are right now. So the goal at the time was to replace lost internship experience due to the coronavirus. And so we wanted to do that by shipping projects. It's not, from the very beginning, it was never meant to be a one-to-one perfect internship replacement experience, but it was meant to be a way to ship projects as a proxy for that, for recovering some of that value, right? Now, what we've realized, or what I've realized though, is replacing lost internship experience was just the tip of the iceberg. And I think when I have people sign up, and that's kind of how you get access to the Discord, there's a little form I ask you at the very end. It's an optional question. What internship, you know, what was your internship? And I say no internship is a valid answer. And about only 15% or so of people actually answer that with anything other than no internship. And so what I realized is like there's probably 80% of people who are here for other reasons. And part of the problem for this is that I believe our educational and job onboarding system was already sick before the coronavirus even hit. So let's talk about the sickness that is our current state of universities and so on. University is extremely expensive right now. That's probably the biggest thing, especially in the US. As costs increase, the return on investment just falls. And now people are constantly asking, are we at a breaking point? Is the value of college now equivalent to the value of no college because the costs are so bad? The other thing is the coronavirus has revealed that a lot of university content is commoditized. The best lecturers in the world can teach online, post a video, and now everybody has access to it. So lectures are now a commodity. And so what are you paying for if lectures are a commodity? Sadly, universities are still a gatekeeper. It's a legacy responsibility. The credential is extremely valuable. So if you have a name brand school and you have a CS major and a decent GPA, there's an extremely high probability you're going to be able to get an interview. Maybe not, the job, but the interview. So let's talk about some gatekeepers right now. Right now in our society, education is probably one of the biggest gatekeepers. So the typical path in software is you go to a name brand school, you get an internship, and you get a job. That's like the path that a lot of people, when they think about getting into software, is what they take. After your first job, however, the school is practically irrelevant. And then the big question for people is often, how do you even get that first job? Today, if it's relatively straightforward, if you liquidated your school credential into an internship, so if you just transferred that value from the credential into an internship, then it kind of cascades and kind of there's a clear path progression for you. But it's actually very stressful without that. And there are obviously other paths, for example, boot camps that handle this a lot better, but it's still a stressful path forward regardless of what happens. So I think that's whack. This is crazy. And I kind of want to talk about two alternatives. One of the alternatives is your skills being a gatekeeper. And so think about this. So imagine a world where you acquire skills, you demonstrate your skills, and then you get picked up by an organization that's looking for those skills. Well, there's actually a field in which this happens all the time, and that's in sports. So people who are looking to be professional athlete, either esports or otherwise, oftentimes they just get picked up. And that's because their skills are available for people to assess, and people can always see that. You demonstrate your skills, and that's enough for you to get noticed. And so that world would be kind of nice if we could operate in like that kind of system. Another kind of gatekeeper is kind of a community. So if you grew up in a community, you can oftentimes get a job from that community. So imagine, a small town, and maybe somebody who can give you, a job as a dishwasher or something just to get you started. There's those close, deep ties are really important. And maybe that's kind of a contrived example, but what's not so contrived is after you get your first job, your network can get you more jobs. So you work with people, they know your work product, they like your work product, and they move on to somewhere else. You reach out to them, there's a very high chance that they can, get you in the door and figuring out how to work on next steps. That happens all the time. And so the community is a really important aspect of this for getting jobs. So kind of come back, what is university again? Like, let's think about this. What the heck is this thing? So if the primary value of community is a commodity of university is a commodity, what is left? And in my opinion, it's the village. So at university, you live together, you learn together, but that's just the beginning, right? There's student organizations, there's events and there's parties, and there's a bunch of spontaneous encounters, and all of this enriches your experience. So really, university, in my opinion, is a freaking expensive package deal of lectures, exams, some way of getting you job ready, and the village. And if we look at each of these in turn, well, the lectures are now a commodity. So how valuable is that? The exams are an artificial assessment anyways. So you could do that better by shipping a project and actually testing it against the real world. And then the job readiness, okay, well, you got your job readiness kind of by the credential, but skills and a community are alternatives to getting past the gatekeeper. And so finally, like, okay, well, the last part of the university that isn't a commodity is the village. So just talking about SOS moving forward, kind of what is SOS becoming? So SOS, to be honest with everybody, it was kind of a meetup. When I first started this, week 0, essentially it was a meetup for people who are building together, right? And there was a couple of mentors, and so you could reach out to me and get a little bit of mentorship. But that was the extent of it. And we had a small Discord shortly afterwards, and that's where we were at. But SOS is really, in my opinion, becoming a village. So now we have mentors, and to me, we are the village elders. Kind of, I don't know if that's a self-congratulatory term for myself, but anyways, we are the village elders. And then there is a group matching program, which is kind of like a matchmaker in a village. There are talks and events. So that's this meeting. It's kind of our town hall. Spontaneous conversations happening in our neighborhood of Discord servers. So, whether it's in your local Discord or the main Discord, there's spontaneous conversation that can happen. And you can bring your own learning material. So we don't necessarily supply them, but those are commodities online, and you can bring them here and then talk about them here. And so like bring your own materials, right? And now it's like people are kind of asking, so what's next for SOS? Well, it's not entirely clear the big long-term play, but if you kind of see the threads that I'm tying together, well, it's that education is becoming, large parts of it becoming commoditized. I think there are alternatives to it, and I think SOS has a role to play in becoming a village for people who want maybe a second digital space. And so what we need to do next are to have more spaces for interaction. So I would love for people to suggest more Discord channels, get people's thoughts on voice channels for increased spontaneity of just talking, and more types of events. So right now we host these Thursday, Friday meetings, and their demos and presentations. But what else would you like to see? And so I need your help to make SOS a better village. If you go to our Discord channel suggestion box, you can drop your ideas there. And that's kind of where we're headed next. Alrighty, at the end of these presentations, I always talk about action items. And so the action items for this week, just to kind of keep everybody shipping and top of mind of what to do. Again, what we're going to do is ship every day in June. Right now, for those of you who are joining us and are new, we are in the middle of a 30 days of shipping challenge, and that's 30 days of shipping is a hashtag that we use on Twitter to talk about what we're doing and doing it in public, as well as if you're working in a group. Okay, the first thing, make sure to add yourself to the project tracker. That will help us make sure that you get all the benefits from SOS. The second thing is, if you haven't already, start reaching out to mentors. Go to the mentor list, mentor/mentor registry, and just find mentors that might have experience in whatever that you're looking to do. And as always, be prepared to demo something next week. Every week, try to have a milestone where you have something demoable. It doesn't have to be something that you do demo, but be in the position to demo. So, that's just an extra slide. All right, so that's that. And I usually have a slide in here that says demos, but I forgot to include it for this week. So right now at this point, we move to our demos. And if anybody has a demo that they would like to share, now would be the time just to drop your name in the chat, and we can turn it over to you. So demos. All right, so we have a demo from Sanha. There was a question from Theodora. Where is the project tracker? So the project tracker is, there's a few places that you can find it. One is if you go to the Discord README, that there is a link to that. Another place is in the Idea Pitch channel in the header. There's a link to that. And finally, on our website, I think there's a link to that as well. But none of them are extremely obvious, and that's something that we want to. Yeah, exactly. We need to improve that. But I'll stop sharing, and I'll turn it over to Sanha in a second. But before I'm gonna stop sharing. Before I do that, I have to make sure I change settings. Okay. All right, Sanha. It is now yours to take over.
Cool. Thanks so much, Phil. Hi, guys. My name is Sanha. I'm a rising senior at Duke. For the past month or so, I've been working on a project I've been calling Anecdote, which is basically a platform for people to share 2-minute audio stories with each other. So let me share this. Um, desktop one. Sorry, Phil, can you actually get me later? I think I have to quit to
Okay.
allow
Yes. Oftentimes when people are sharing their screens, they need to give Zoom permissions. So, all right. Well, we wait for Sanha to kind of get the technical, quit and rejoin. Is there anybody else who is ready to demo for this week, or any project group that wants to show off just where they're at? Alrighty. Anybody ready to demo this week? No more demos. All right, so we'll wait for Sanha, and we'll let him demo. But then after that, I will have to get on everybody's case, and we need to get into the habit of shipping every week. And so,
Cool. Let's see if this works.
alrighty.
Awesome. There we go. Cool. So this is Anecdote. So I'm just gonna log out for now.
Okay.
So I've built this on Swift UI for the front end, and then on the back end, working with a combination of Node and Mongo, pretty much.
Nice.
Cool. So the sign up flow, I just kind of stole from Facebook. So summer shipping, some basic validation, we'll call it shipping. And then signing up.
Nice.
Awesome. So basically these are just stories that you can click and listen to. They're just placeholders for now. So how about we just record one? So this is core functionality. So you can either create your own story or answer a question. For now, let's answer a question. So we have, right now it's just hard-coded a couple of questions, but later on I'm planning on making more dynamic. But let's see, which question should I do? So let's say, describe your first day at college, right? So the question will be here. We get 2 minutes to record. And then we'll just talk into the mic for a couple seconds. Stop, next, and then let's see. College story, college. Say this happened like 2020, and then in Durham. Then we'll say stories about school. Cool. So we'll post it here, and then if we refresh it, then we can click on it, and then I don't know why that's not working. Oh, there we go. So you can listen to the story here. And then if you click on this, you can control. You can go back and forward.
Oh wow, that's super cool. So it's like a way to kind of share voice. It's like voice Twitter.
Pretty much. Yeah, that's the one-liner, voice. So yeah, so there's just like other simple functionality that's part of a social media. Like you can see your post here, and then if you like a story here, you can see it over here.
Nice.
The trending algorithm I stole from Reddit, so it's based on, I don't really understand it, but I just copy and pasted it from their open source thing. And then you can explore by tag, explore by question, and then you can also search for different users, and you can search for stories as well.
That's super cool. And Sanha, do you have a website version of this as well, or?
I don't. Right now it's just Swift UI, but once this is done, I really want to release on web and on Android. So probably have to get on like React Native or something. But
Very, very interesting. Okay. And are you looking for collaborators right now, or do you have a small team that you're working with, or?
right now it's just me by myself, but
Okay.
I might have to start looking for Android developers. Yeah, and like And as you can see, it's pretty simple layout for now. So I have to work on making it more pretty. But
No, but I
yeah,
love it. Yeah, the scope is, I think you kept the scope to a really, really, really manageable amount, which is awesome. And yeah, I'm really, yeah, it's pretty exciting to see that.
thanks, Phil.
Sweet. And yeah, if you are looking for collaborators, yeah, just feel free to add yourself to the project tracker, and then people can kind of find you that way. And so yeah, you're getting some comments now in the yeah, I think you're addressing them. So very cool. Let's give Sanha a round of applause. And thank you for that demo, man. That was really cool. Again, you can only hear me clapping, but again, I'm sure everyone is in their respective rooms and they're clapping too. So let's go to, Van, did I see you say something about you can demo something as well, just something small? All right, Van, when you are ready, take it away and demo whatever it is that you've been working on.
Hey.
Hey, Van.
Yep, just gonna pull up my things. It's just the new version of my website. But
Nice.
Oh, God, I hope. Oh, please tell me it's. Yes, I can share. Yeah, it worked.
Okay.
Okay. So basically, this is my It's a new iteration of my website. I had a different version going, but it was really just a boilerplate from HTML5 up. So I basically made this. It's kind of broken because if I do this, it breaks.
Yeah,
It's weird. It works on my desktop, but if I put it on my the computer, it just breaks completely.
That's funny.
But it's fine.
It's yeah, exactly. It's responsive, but just not in the way that not in a good way.
It's responsive, but it just doesn't work. So
it's a bad responsive. Yeah.
I've also hard coded all the CSS. For example, all the animations for hovering the buttons, everything is made in complete CSS. There's no plugins or anything. It was really hard to make this. I hated this. I had to look up how to do that. That was terrible. And obviously, it's just a simple projects page. Here, I might release the like the code I use for these cards because it's actually really, really useful. It's literally just like 2-3 lines, but basically it's automatically but it's automatically responsive so that I don't have to write any media queries or none of that.
Mm-hmm.
So it's set so that it automatically displays how many cards it can be in each row. It's auto fit using CSS Grid. Some of you might be familiar with that. And then of course it's the resume. Not gonna show you that. And then the about me, and that's really just it.
That's awesome. I remember you showed us a first iteration of your website, maybe the first week or second week of demos, and it's really cool to see that you are just making progress and yeah, it's looking good, man.
Yeah, I just gotta make it actually work, but that comes later.
Yeah, there's a saying where you make it work and then you make it right, and so right now it's working, and now you have to make it right.
I'm working on the perfected scale routine. I'm still perfecting.
Yeah, nail it, then scale it.
Yep.
Alrighty. Okay, well, thank you, Van, for the demo. Let's give him a round of applause for showing off what he got. All right, thanks, Van. Cool. All right, I'm gonna trying to open up it to anybody who has another demo or maybe a project pitch that they want to do. I think I mentioned towards the end that if you had another project pitch, we could do them at demo time. So if you kind of been sitting on an idea and you kind of just want to pitch that, now would be a good time to do that too. If not, then we can kind of end this portion early and go to just the little breakout sessions afterwards. So let's see where people are at. Alrighty, I think we're good for demos and pitches today. So pretty light week in general across the board. So I am going to stop the recording.